first half disappointing teams in the MLB. And I want to focus on one team here. You guys are more than welcome to bring up another team, but I want to talk about the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is a team that went to the World Series last year, had all the momentum in the world and support behind them, and they did absolutely nothing with it. And I don't know who to blame, but I'm going to blame the players because the organization did invest a lot of money into this team. They went out, they signed Jordan Montgomery. He has been one of the worst pitchers in baseball.
Yeah.
Corbin Carroll is a completely different player, one of the worst hitters in baseball. They signed Eduardo Rodriguez. He's been hurt all year. Jock Peterson is not Jock Peterson right now. I mean, this team is like still in the race. They're not out of playoff contention whatsoever. They can easily go for a wild card spot. And I do still think the NL West is like somewhat in reach, but that's going to be hard to defeat the mighty Dodgers. But still, what happened to this team?
Oh, Deepak, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I think I picked them to go pretty far, possibly even win the division there too. I think the biggest shocker for me is Corbin Carroll. A lot of people had him going for MVP, this season, having, I believe, winning Rookie of the Year last year. I think that's the biggest one to me. I kind of expected the Montgomery disappointment, I guess. He had a great year last year, but another one of those Scott Boras kinds where he misses preseason. He doesn't get a full training regimen in pitching and everything. He comes in, he has arm issues. I believe he went on the IL and it's just been getting blown up too. The Eduardo Rodriguez one stinks. I think we picked him to have a really good bounce back year as well. But like I said, I think it's the Corbin Carroll, man. To see what he is as a hitter this year, he looks nothing like he was last year.
Yeah, look, like when you go down the pitching, right? Like Jordan Montgomery is the outlier with like ERA and WHIP and the numbers that he's giving up. But the issue that is what I've seen with most teams is the offensive production from the Diamondbacks is just not good enough. And when you look at the lineup that they have, like Eugenio Suarez is hitting 216. Corbin Carroll is hitting 210. Like that's not the numbers you need from two guys that like you expected to carry your offense this year. Ketel Marte having a great season.
Christian Walker's having a great season as well.
Great season. Lourdes Gurriel, who I cannot stand the Gurriels, but like those guys can hit. Like they're and Jock Peterson, like, he's a splits hitter. He's hitting only against righties, right? So when you look at the supporting cast of offensive production guys, it's just not there. It was a stunner for me, but that's not the most stunning team in my opinion.
Who is it?
Yeah,
it's the Texas Rangers.
That was also on my list.
and the Diamondbacks and Texas Rangers. Now I'm going to put this into perspective for you, right? And I don't know all the other MLB teams, but I'm just going off of what I think is the main problem in baseball in general, right? The Diamondbacks have struck out 814 times in 103 games, right? It's like 8 a game, right? Which is, I'm sure it's on par. The Rangers, 793. So it's like 7 1/4. But the Texas Rangers are hitting 239 as a team, right? That is horrible for a team that I thought with all these returners, Simeon, 246, Adolis Garcia, 209.
He's having a bad year right now, yeah.
And I know you get your ring, but the most jacks on this team is Seager with 19. He's hitting 270. Like, I just Jonah Heim, 233.
When people were expecting a lot out of Evan Carter coming up, people were expecting a lot out of Wyatt Langford. They haven't quite lived up to expectations the first full year in the bigs. I'm right there with you, Dino. That's a great one. Not to interrupt, but I was going to go same division there with the Mariners, man. At one point, they were winning that division. I think the biggest shocker, the biggest disappointment for me, though, you're mentioning batting averages. The Mariners have the worst in the league at 216 as a team. Like, I forget the exact stat, but they've struck out a ridiculous amount of times. I believe the most in history at one point for a team winning the division. And now Julio just goes down. Speaking of disappointment, having a huge disappointing year. No extra base hits, hardly any extra base hits, and the average is a little low as well, too. So it's kind of a conundrum there because they did so well to start, but the last month and a half has just been terrible for them.
Yeah, it's a conversation for another time, but it is interesting. All these superstars are just having horrible years, and it just makes you sit here and wonder, like, where is hitting going in the future for baseball? Because pitching continues to dominate. J. Rod, Corbin Carroll, Mike Trout is nowhere with what he used to be. Obviously, the injury bug is there, but even when he's been healthy, he's still not MVP Trout. I know age is there, but there's plenty of other
Alonso's
guys
having a
too.
down year.
Yeah, I mean, look, like, it's going to be a great conversation to have because, like, I'm going to add it up, but the strikeout rate, like, the Seattle Mariners have struck out 1,066 times in 104 games.
But that's what I'm saying. That's insane.
And dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't watched a single baseball game, professional baseball game, in a month, and it's amazing. Like, honestly, you should do it.
No.
You're gonna feel so good because the only thing that I see in baseball games right now is punch outs and fly balls.
But you're only saying that because the Yanks aren't doing well. But if the Yanks were on a heater and they're going 8-2, 9-1 over a 10-game stretch, you're watching every single one of those games. Because the Pirates just went 8-2 over the last 10, and I watched 10 baseball games in a row.
Dude, you could give me $5,000 of free betting money towards MLB games, and I would not bet it, and I would not watch a game unless I wanted to take a nap.